Alright everyone, so we probably have the most big and major news ever for both Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars, and that is yes, both films got delayed, but for what I'll explain to you right here in this video is not only what the new release dates are, but also break it down for why this is a brilliant and smart move for Marvel Studios, because especially as we have Doomsday and Secret Wars for how big they're gonna be, especially with RDJ's Doctor Doom and everything that the Russo brothers, and they have a stat cast of A-list actors and also a lot of VFX and CGI, everything that be putting into this movie. But I think this is a clever move for why they are doing this. Why we have to wait for part 2, but this is genius as well. So let's break it all down right here. And so if you're new, then be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any future bits. But now let's talk about this right now. And now, as you may know, that with both Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars, that they're going to be a part of Phase 6 of the Multiverse Saga, and introducing Robert Downey Jr. back in the MCU as Doctor Doom. And even for how big these movies are going to be, that they're going to be so big, especially with all of the A-list actors, over 60 of them to be exact, to be a part of this movie. And right now that they're in a production, right now that they are filming the movie. But in terms of like how big they're going to be in terms of in post-production, all the VFX and all of the CGI, well, in terms of like with the new release dates, and I think this is so brilliant because I think this is where at a moment in time where Marvel really wants to focus on crafting these movies and making them feel perfect for the audience. And as especially, I'm gonna get into what those new release dates are right now, especially as this is coming from Variety, that they dropped a whole article that with Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars that they both got delayed to both December 2026 and 2027 release dates. And now, starting off with, we have Avengers Doomsday, and that got delayed from May 1st, 2026 to now December 18th, 2026. Also with Avengers Secret Wars, and that got delayed from May 7th, 2027 to now December 17th, 2027. And now, I think to me, this is the most brilliant move, not only for Marvel Studios, but also for these next two Avengers movies, because especially, like, they need time to focus on the CGI, and especially everything in post-production, like, they don't want to rush their VFX workers or like overwork them. They want to craft these movies right to make them perfect for the fans, because especially if you take a look at all of the recent projects, especially I think in Marvel's Phase 4 and 5, the CGI and everything in the post-production department and how every one of the recent projects has turned out, it seemed to be a little bit lacking lately. But even though I think this is a brilliant move, especially for what Kevin Feige is doing, because especially for what Marvel Studios is doing behind the scenes, that they want to make quality instead of quantity, because instead of like spreading themselves out too thin, but now they want to make less because less is more. And speaking with Avengers Doomsday, is that they cannot like rush filming and then get to editing and then like get to release this film out in like a 12-month release window, a time of release for its May 1st, 2026 release date. And also with Secret Wars, that's also huge, because especially if Doomsday and Secret Wars were to come out in May of 2026 and also in 2027 with Secret Wars, and that means they would have to rush these next two Avengers films out, and the fans will probably notice everything that's been going on with this movie in terms of the CGI and the VFX is going to be noticeable. And for what the article continues to go on to say is that with those changes, Avengers Doomsday and Sony's Spider-Man Brand New Day are now the only Marvel Cinematic Universe entries slated to hit theaters in 2026. Also of note, the new pre-holiday December frame for both Avengers installments is the same one that Spider-Man No Way Home launched on in 2021. And yes, that is right, that with the upcoming Spider-Man Brand New Day that is releasing on July 31st, 2026, it can keep its release date. So what that means, after the Fantastic Four First Steps, which releases in theaters on July 25th, 2025, this upcoming summer, and now we have to wait like a whole year for the next MCU movie, which is Spider-Man Brand New Day. And now with Avengers Doomsday coming out months after that, it will now come out before Avengers Doomsday. So I think of that as like a good thing, because especially with Tom Holland's Spider-Man, and I think he can now be more involved now in Doomsday, because I mean, come on, Spider-Man is like a big household name in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He's part of the Avengers. Come on. And well, I also think it is super brilliant for Marvel to be moving these next two Avengers movies to a later date in 2026 and 2027. But if you look at the December release date, that is around the holiday season. That is Christmas time. But I think that is the prime hotspot for these next two movies, because if you think about it, because that is like the best time at the box office for people to be showing up to the movies. That is like the hotspot, because, and also I'm talking about with Spider-Man No Way Home, that released around the December release date in 2021, and it did over $1 billion. That was post-pandemic, but there's something about that December release date that really speaks a definite true move for these next two Avengers films, that with Marvel Studios making that brilliant business decision otherwise. But even if you take a look for what else is releasing in December of 2026, I'm talking about with Shrek 5, Ice Age, and also we have Dune Messiah releasing December 18th, 2026, and that is also the same movie releasing that date. So we could be looking at another Barbenheimer over here with Avengers Doomsday and Dune Messiah, because I don't know what people are going to say. Oh, they're going to name this Doomsday, or call it some other name for a Barbenheimer between those two movies. And so especially, and now that I'm thinking about with Doomsday and Secret Wars, for how big those movies are going to be, and now they can take more time to get these projects done and not have to rush so much, because especially like they're gonna be such big movies. I'm guarantee you, like they're gonna be like over 2 hour to 3 hour plus movies, and there's still a lot of work to be done. I mean, you can't rush post production on the CGI and the VFX, and also Secret Wars is going to provide closure for the multiverse saga, and before we move into the next phase. And if you consider the fact that with Avengers Doomsday, about how it's gonna be a big cliffhanger towards the end of that movie to set up a battle royal to go into Secret Wars, that's something you absolutely cannot rush in post-production, because they're going to need a lot more time, especially for what they're adapting from comics, the Secret Wars storyline, and all that galore. All these heroes coming together to take down Doctor Doom, and especially with the whole multiverse involved, that's something that you cannot rush and get that out in like a 12-month time period. I mean, if I'm being completely honest with all you, but I just do think this is a brilliant move, just to move these next two Avengers films to a later date. So, and even though these next two Avengers movies won't be opening up in May to kick off summer movie season, but now moving into like towards like at the end of the year, and that's like the best time ever to be releasing those next two Marvel movies. And I'm guarantee you, like it is the brilliant opportunity for these two Avengers movies to make bank during the holiday season. And wow, Marvel definitely made the right choice. They are definitely geniuses on their end, but I just hope that these next two Avengers movies end up being good, aside from the big change that they made of moving these two films to a later date. And at the end of the day, I just want good movies out of this, because especially what the Russo brothers are doing, what Robert Downey Jr. is doing, plus earning that big Marvel paycheck. This is like Avengers that we're talking about, but these are like two big movies, right? They are two big movies, and so we definitely don't want to rush like these next two movies into the next year as well. So yeah, I gotta say, for my final consensus and my final thoughts is I'm so glad that they moved these next two Avengers movies to December of 2026 and 2027, and that they have more time in post-production, as opposed to rush these next two Avengers films out and to have the CGI and VFX be all wonky, and the fans will notice that right away. But especially when you focus on the quality of the next Avengers movies, it's gonna look perfect. And trust me, they want to make this built for the movie theaters. And that's something that Kevin Feige and Marvel are going to be counting on with these movies, and they want quality, so they're going to give these movies quality as well. But that's going to do it for this video. Just let me know in the comments below, and what are your thoughts on the next two Avengers movies, Doomsday and Secret Wars, moving to a later release date in December of 2026 and 2027. And just what are your thoughts on all this? If you think it is a genius and brilliant move by the studio, just let me know all in the comments down below. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to know notifications about future videos. You can also follow all my social medias or link down below. And with that, I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.